Hi there, it is Jo from Minerva and I have something super exciting to share with you today, which is a new base cloth which is out at Minerva. We've got a lot of our exclusive fabrics. We have a French terry, a sweater knit, a viscose challis and a linen cotton mix, but now we are introducing our cotton sateen to our range. I'm going to give you a little tour through of some of the fabrics and I'm going to give you some information about cotton sateen if you've not heard of it before. I'm wearing one of the versions now. This is the Montrose top from Cashmerette. It's a shell top with darts, short sleeve. This one has a dual neck, but you can have the neck scooped out. And I've done the version that has the gathers on the back. So there's a little yoke with a gathered back section. The Montrose top works with this cotton fabric. It's called Bouquet Boudoir and it's got a really nice dark moody print on it. It looks a little bit like velvet burnt out fabric because the light blue and the pink have that sort of dark shadow behind, which sort of makes it look a little bit 3D. We'll take a look at some of the other patterns. I'm going to swap to a white top so that you can really see the pattern, the colours and the prints at their very best. This is a glasses on off video for me because I'm going to be checking out some pattern numbers and also giving you some of the information so that you can find out if sateen would match any of your patterns you have at home. I've got them all hanging up here, so let's take a better view. We have already looked at the Bouquet Boudoir one, which is the fabric that I was wearing in my introduction. And let's take a look at a few other tops and shirt patterns that you can use this fabric with. The first pattern that I'd like to show you is the Megan Nielsen Sudley. It's a Peter Pan collared top. You can have the collar or not the collar, and it has a waist and line for the gathered skirt and a tie. This fabric is called sateen. That's S-A-T-E-E-N. It's not a satin, so it's not shiny. It's got a kind of smooth luster. So you wouldn't call it a satin. It's a cotton fabric, a bit like a cotton poplin. So if you've sewn with cotton poplin before, then this fabric behaves in a very similar way. And this fabric would make a beautiful winter, moody, dark Sudley blouse. You can also use this to make the dress too, because as I showed you at the beginning, it gathers well too, because it's a light to medium weight fabric. But when you get your gathering, you will get a little bit of structure, so it's not the same as one of our challis fabrics in the same print, which will be very, very drapey. This fabric is a cotton, so although it's described as medium to lightweight, it doesn't have a drape the same as our challis. You can see that when I let go of it, it will create a fold rather than just collapsing in on itself. So the fabric is good for more structured patterns. I've chosen this one because it has a collar. Because this fabric acts as 100% cotton, it's got the feel of cotton lawn. So if you've used cotton lawn before, you'll know what that feels like. It's a lightweight cotton. This one isn't see-through. It won't need lining at all. And another pattern you can use with a collar where you'll get a really nice crisp point is the Friday Pattern Company patina blouse. And I've chosen this print because it's got quite a small print on it. So with your collar and your main body pieces, you won't be getting too much clashing of the patterns. The fabric is directional. You can see there's a butterfly there in the middle. So you'd want that to be the right way up and you'd want the flower bunches to be the right way up. It's got a sort of slightly darker hue there going into a lighter hue, so you could play around with that as a slight border print. But you will be needing to find the correct grain by using the directional print. So when you put your selvage to selvage, your print will be the correct way up. The patina blouse has buttons down the front, so you can have your button band interfaced and that will be strong enough to hold a buttonhole if you use an automatic buttonholer, and you will also be able to sew your buttons on through the band, and that will support the weight of the buttons. So think of this fabric as a cotton lawn. Next, we'll take a look at a few of these more geometric prints. So this one from a distance looks like an animal print, but when you're close up you can see their little heart shapes. It's a really bright orange, it's really vibrant, ideal for summer wear. And this would make a brilliant melody tunic. So the melody tunic has collars on as well, but it's quite a long line shirt. It has a 3/4 sleeve, but you can make it a little bit longer. There is a sew along for it actually, so you could check that out here. But you could make it in a cotton lawn and wear the tunic on its own, or you could wear it belted as a sort of small tunic dress over leggings. You need to use an 80 needle, so nothing too special. It presses like a dream, which is why I've chosen all my top patterns have got collars on, because you can get really good points. You can press those out and you can give it a really good steam press. It's a brilliant fabric for beginners. It's not shifting around, it's not moving around. It's got a little bit of stability to it so that you can work carefully on your seam allowances. This is the Melody Tunic. The fabric works well with gathers. Your gathers will be slightly more structured gathers than with challis, of course, but you can also cut a flounce from this material. You'll get quite a strong flounce. You won't get one that really folds in on itself. But I think this fabric, with that sort of bright popping colour against the black background, would be really good here. This is New Look 6560. It's got 3 different versions. One of them has the ruffle collar, so you can try it out and see if you like it. It will make a slightly bigger flounce in a lawn than with draping fabric. And the one with the drop sleeves is really nice as well, because that has little gathers, a bit similar to this shirt here, where the gathers are in the yoke and then they give you the volume for the bust area. This fabric is also strong enough to make the tie. So you'll get a tie that doesn't just collapse and all crease in on itself. It would make a really neat feature to the blouse. Because this fabric is non-stretch, then it's really great for making structured dresses and jumpsuits too. Let's take a look at a couple of those. There are also some larger scale prints in this series of sateen. This one's really vibrant. It's got sort of turquoise blue. This colour is a real cherry red, even if it's coming up on your screen as slightly cerise, a real pink cherry red. Large prints are really good if you've got a long skirt where you can have lots of the print on show, or if you're making a jumpsuit where you can keep the pattern print continuous from the top to the bottom. You may need a little bit of pattern matching across the waist. So I've been taking a look at New Look 6446, which is a really versatile pattern because it has both of those things on it. So it has a short sundress, a longer midi length sundress, and also a short play suit and a long jumpsuit. And this fabric would give a real holiday mood to any of those featured on that pattern. Again, you'll be able to make the tie and the belt. You might need to do a little bit of pattern matching, but that is such a busy print. You'd really want to be just balancing out those triangles. The next set of triangles is quite a long way off. But it's a super exciting design. The fabric is 56 inches wide, so that makes it a good value per metre. When you fold selvage to selvage, there's plenty of opportunity to get 2 trouser leg runs on there, or you could fold it to get 2 fold lines, one on this side and one on this side, so you can cut a centre back on the fold and a centre front on the fold. It's a non-stretch fabric. If you actually found the grain line here along the selvage, that straight grain is absolutely stable, and the cross grain has a tiny bit of give, but not very much at all, just as much as will allow from the weave threads. So if you're cutting it, you need to make sure that you're getting your cross grain going across your body. All of these fabrics are OEKO Tex certified, so you can check out those credentials if you want to. And you can also check out New Look 6449. There's a good mix of floral and geometric prints in this range. This one is a really light and airy floral with a pale background, pink, turquoise, little flashes of a sort of yolky yellow and a green. Those are just little highlights. This just creates that sort of brush stroke look. And if you like sewing vintage patterns or reproduction vintage patterns, then quite often they call for a cotton, because that was one of the most popular fabrics to be used in 50s, 60s and 70s, until the 70s when really you started to get some more stretch fabrics in. So if you've got vintage patterns, then this fabric is ideal for those, all those sort of sundresses, dresses with a gathered waist. I'm sharing with you today a vintage inspired pattern, and this is a Laura Ashley remake pattern from the 1970s. It's McCall's 8358, and it is a dress with a tier, quite big sleeves, quite on trend at the moment, and I think it would look really beautiful in this floral fabric, a little nod to Laura Ashley. Depending on the look that you want from this pattern, you could try this new cotton sateen, and you'll get a bit more of a structured dress, so you'll have plenty of volume around the upper body, and you can add or take away the tier. But you could also try this same pattern in our viscose challis. Continuing the vintage vibe, I'm looking at these really bright colours, thinking of that sort of 70s, 60s style. This one is a brushstroke pattern. Actually see it, it's like oil paints. It's greens, quite acid yellows, lime green, and then it's all held down with the sort of darker navy tone that's holding all of those colours together. The pattern I've chosen is Nomi 2021, which is a little mini dress. It's got a sweetheart neck and quite a big sleeve feature. You could try the wider sleeve feature. The reverse of the fabric is white, and that works for a fabric that has a white background. Maybe on one of our darker fabrics you wouldn't particularly want to see the white on the inside, but it definitely works for this fabric. Or you can make the sleeves with the little cuff or elastic. Again, it's a busy print, so pattern matching wise you just want to be balancing those shapes out a little bit, so you get a big fan like that shape, not quite meeting the next one. But really, it's so exciting and so gorgeous. It wouldn't matter if you pattern matched it or not, because it's so busy. And this is the pattern. Nomi patterns have quite a few new patterns out at the moment, so you could go and check out that brand if you've not seen it before. If you are making something quite fitted, like this one is quite fitted through the waist, and you're wanting to get that sweetheart neck in the correct position on your bust so that it's a flattering shape, then you need to make sure that you've pre-washed your fabric. There is a 5% shrinkage, so you'd be wanting to wash your fabric on your 40-degree wash and drying it as you would dry your finished item. So make sure that you pre-wash your fabric so that you don't get disappointed with your sizing after you've had the first wash of the garment that you've made. I have a couple more dressmaking patterns to show you. I've got a couple more prints left. This one is one of my favourites. I have a McCall's top in this, and I was going to wait for the video, but then I thought I would just blend into all the fabric, so that's why I went with white. This has a navy background, some sort of stylized flowers, not the ones that look like a painting, but that sort of cartoon of a flower. But it's really lovely colour palette. It goes with so many different things. The green colour in there is a sort of minty green, which really lifts the dark tones of the background. And this would make a great summer dress. The summer dress I've chosen is the Astrid sundress. It is a fitted bodice sundress with straps, and because you're going to get a demi drape or demi shape with this fabric, it's not going to just drape on the top half. You will get a little bit of structure. It's the ideal fabric. Remember, it's operating similar to a light poplin or a cotton lawn. So many sundresses will work well with this pattern. A really great fabric for beginners. And if you can find your beginner sundress pattern, then you can get sewing. You might have seen Jungle Dreamer used by lots of Minerva makers in our other base cloths. In the sweatshirt fabric, people make the Billy sweatshirt. In the chalet, people make Tilly and the Buttons Lyra dress. Men use it for shirts. It's quite a unisex fabric, this one. Makes a great sort of safari shirt. I've chosen an indie pattern. This is the True Bias Shelby Dress. It's a shirt dress with buttons down the front. There's no collars or anything, but you'll get a really nice feeling full skirt with this. And if you're new to shirt dresses and you haven't made plackets and button bands and things before, then it's a really good starting point for a shirt dress, because you haven't got to worry about all the collars or anything, because it's got facings around the neck. But you'll have this stable fabric for trying out your buttons, buttonholes and facings. Now, as a switch up to the other fabrics, I would recommend pattern matching this, because I always think it looks a bit strange when you have a sort of headless animal or an animal with its legs chopped off. So you might need to do a little bit of pattern matching there to make sure that your animals remain in their entirety. You'll be able to do that with the Shelby dress because you've got plenty of skirt space to go at, and you've got lots of seams that you can be trying to make sure that you get your tigers in each whole section. All of the Minerva exclusive fabrics, no matter what base cloth they're on, have been commissioned and produced for Minerva only. That's why they're called exclusive. This one is absolutely one of my favourites. This is by Rachel Parker. It's called Bubbles, I think, but it's absolutely amazing. And the pattern that I've saved till last is a skirts pattern. This is Simplicity 8743. I love this pattern. I've never made it, but if I look at the packet, I always think I want one of those skirts. And I think this would make it, because there's inverted box pleats on the front. So you want a fabric that presses really well and that you can get a crisp pleat on, and this fabric is that. So you would get a full skirt, and the pleating would give you the fullness rather than gathers, because gathering with this is good, but you sometimes get, because you've got a little bit of demi structure in there, you sometimes sort of get it sort of humps out from the waistband. But with pleats you get the fullness but with a little bit of sophistication. So this pattern can be made as a full skirt or a knee length skirt. And it has a shaped waistband, and you'll be able to do that by using a waistband stiffener on the back of the fabric. Well, the background's gone all white, so that means I have shown you all of our new fabrics. This is sateen. Don't forget, it's not satin, it's 100% cotton for all of your sundress, blouses, jumpsuits and skirt patterns. We would love to know, as soon as it lands at your house, if you can make something up and post it for us. That would be superb. You'll really inspire other Minerva makers. Let us know which is your favourite print. We would love to know in the comments below, and what you would make with cotton sateen. Thank you very much for watching. Do call again soon.